One of the things I have in common with my HNW partner Martin, it's not a love for cats, it's a love for boxing. You know, the sweet science. Two men going toe to toe in the centre of a ring to determine who's the better athlete by applying blunt force trauma to each other. I just love it. You know, I understand why some people don't, but I do. I love it. My favourite ever boxer's not. It's not a Mancunian champion like Ricky Hatton or Tyson Fury, and it's not a British legend like Frank Bruno or an American superstar like Floyd Mayweather. No, my favourite ever boxer is a former featherweight from Sheffield called Naseem Hamed. And if you've heard of him, you'll probably know him as Prince Naz. Now, Prince Naz was electric. He was cocky. He was brilliant. You know, his fights tended to last a couple of minutes. He'd just come dancing out of the corner, bob and weave a bit, no guard. You know, he had his arms by his sides. It was amazing. And then he just knocked the bloke unconscious. 31 knockouts in 37 fights. That's entertainment. Now, if you ask people about Prince Naz, they probably won't mention his fighting style. The first thing they'll say to you is that his ring walks were longer than his fights. That was hand doing a bit of a Mike Tyson earbite there. Yeah, Prince Naz's ring walks were longer than his fights. You know, and it's true. But it's true for a reason, because the Prince knew that to make it in boxing, what you really need is a story. You've got to stand out from the crowd. Now, every single boxer is a plucky young kid from the streets, fighting his way out of poverty. You know, everyone at some point will turn to a camera crew and say, yeah, boxing gave me the discipline to keep me out of jail. All of them always claim that they're an electrifying knockout artist, even when they're not. Now, Naz, he did claim all that too, but what made him different was that he had these amazing ring entrances. I am talking unbelievably amazing. You know, he was carried in once on a palanquin. He was flown in on a magic carpet. He fought on Halloween once and reenacted Michael Jackson's Thriller video on the way to the ring. There were zombies and everything. It was insane. You know, people would tune in to a Prince Naz fight just to watch him get into the ring. You know, my mum, she doesn't like boxing, but she'd watch Naz's entrance and then, you know, leave the room before people started punching each other. You know, and people would talk about these ring walks for weeks. I was at school at the time and you know, getting playground on Monday morning. It's like, did you see the boxing at weekend? Yeah. Did you see Naz? Like, yeah. And no one was talking about the fighting. And that's the genius of the man, you know. He understood that when everyone in the world does pretty much the same thing, you know, in his industry, that's walk to the ring, punch another man in the brain a bit, go home. You know, you need to have your point of difference. And Naz's point of difference was the least valuable part of what he did, that walking to the ring. You know, it's a great message. This thing that everyone does, this boring, necessary thing, I've made it fun. I've made it absolutely unmissable. So maybe it's time you had a little think. Have a think about the things that everyone in your industry does and ask yourself the same question that Prince Naz did. How do I make the necessary unmissable?